Canals on Mars. Guns in space, canals on Mars. Well, what do I say? You see, for the longest time, talks of canal-building civilizations of Mars were all over the Earth, in stories and writings and gossip. It wasn't really until NASA's Mariner missions when spacecrafts finally monitored the surface of Mars and debunked this erroneous belief of Martian canals that we understood how this misinterpretation in observation of the sky was because of the illusions being formed due to images being smeared out of atmospheric layers of Earth, as then telescopes and methods were not ideal for obtaining the best observation of the space and celestial bodies. Martian Piloted Complex, or MPK. Martian Piloted Complex, or MPK, was a space mission study by the Soviet Union and the first ever serious plan to Mars by the Soviets. The voyage was proposed in 1956 by Mikhail Tikhonov, which would have carried a crew of 6 cosmonauts on a 900-day expedition on Mars. Assembled in low Earth orbit, the craft would have used conventional liquid propellants, and after about a year of exploration, the crew then would return to Earth with the re-entry vehicle being about 15 tons, which 30 months prior to that would have been something about 1,630 tons. Humble beginnings. SrUB. SrUB, apparently meaning Zvezda, was a Soviet Union ISS module, which was a moon-based plan for lunar colonization as part of their N1-L3 program, where N1 and L3 had their own roles in the whole mission. However, all of the 4 test flights of the N1 rockets turned out to be disasters in their own ways. And this 1962 top-secret program that had come into picture post-Sputnik's success had to be discontinued and officially cancelled in 1976, as it could never be used to carry, let alone ferry, any cosmonauts over the Zvezda moon base. The luck of Barbara Morgan. Barbara Morgan is an American teacher who also ended up being the first teacher in space when she was an astronaut. But this tale wasn't always too straightforward for her, which is where the luck part comes into picture. As initially she was selected to be the first backup teacher as part of NASA's Teacher in Space project.
Backup teacher who will make the flight if the winner can't, Barbara Morgan of the McCall-Donnelly Elementary School in McCall, Idaho. Congratulations. And we have a little thing.
However, the Challenger spacecraft that carried Krista McAuliffe, the primary teacher in space, and 6 others, met an undesirable fate as the vehicle exploded on live television seconds within the launch.
We'll throttle down to 65% shortly.
Don't know what the effect might be just yet. The astronauts will take a look later on during the mission.
Engines at 65%, 3 engines running normally, 3 good fuel cells, 3 good APUs.
APUs, the auxiliary power
Velocity
units.
2,257 feet per second. Altitude 4.3 nautical miles. Downrange distance 3 nautical miles.
It's always amazing to hear how quickly the shuttle moves. It's already more than 4 miles downwind as we just
Engines
heard.
throttling up. 3 engines now at 104%.
Challenger, go and throttle up.
Roger, go and throttle up.
The shuttle mission will launch, my God,
1 minute 15
There's been an
seconds.
explosion.
Velocity 2,900 feet per second. Altitude 9 nautical miles. Downrange distance 7 nautical miles.
Barbara Morgan, being the backup teacher, wasn't on board that day and so was still alive. And despite watching her friend die, now was only more determined to carry the legacy on.
I think we all have an obligation, and I mean there are always tragedies in life, and we have an obligation to carry on.
As and when the moment comes into her life of finally becoming the first teacher to give science lessons in space, which took many more than what she guessed.
Barbara, what is the soonest your mission might be?
I really can't answer that. I assume it's going to be at least 2 years.
Maybe a lot more?
Maybe a lot more.
Making it all into a heroic story and finally giving a much-deserved happy ending to this long, emotional, and tragic story.
1, 0, and Liftoff of Space Shuttle Endeavour, expanding the International Space Station while creating a classroom in space.
The throttle up call acknowledged by Commander Scott Kelly, joined on the flight deck by pilot Charlie Hobaugh, flight engineer Rick Mastracchio and Tracy Caldwell, Dave Williams, Al Drew, and Barbara Morgan seated down on the middeck, Morgan racing towards space on the wings of a Legacy.
After more than 21 years in 2007.
Good morning, Discovery Center. Good afternoon. We're happy to be here with you. This is Al Drew, Clay Anderson, Dave Williams, and I'm Barb Morgan, and we are ready for your first question. Welcome aboard the International Space Station.
We have a quick message from Idaho.
Hi, I'm Sarah Avery. If you threw a baseball in space, how fast did it go?